Amawasi.
And my name is Dr. Alisia Moutry.
Hey, we in here with Ryan out in Byron. What's up with y'all
Can't do it
today?
without those two.
Hey,
I
man.
can't
Hey,
complain.
this is what we do. Well, we can't start the show before we do our two
We
P's.
can.
The first is permission, as in the tradition of our ancestors. It is customary that we get permission from an elder to speak. We've been granted that permission.
And you know what? She did it today, and she did it, and it was like we were in the car, but we always still make it happen. But she always prays for the listening audience. She always prays for our guests, and she always prays for our engineers to make
And
sure
that's the
things go
second
well.
P. Since you jumping ahead, Alicia, she excited today. And this is a beautiful thing. And so, as we talk about this, we always say, well, who is an ancestor that we want to dedicate this show to? And I think this one goes all the way around because this person just made it to the transition to the realm of the ancestors. And I think it kind of went under the radar. And that was a person named H. Rap Brown. And he actually passed away on November 23rd,
Oh wow.
2025.
Wow.
That's her birthday.
Right.
And the same day our dad transitioned. And when I think about H. Rap Brown, you think of the Stokely Carmichaels and all of the people of that generation in that time. And he changed his name to Jamil El Amin. But he was just a person who was outspoken for his love for Black people, was outspoken to talk about all of those things that was just not right in our society. He wanted to make sure that we as Black people understood how powerful we were, how beautiful we were, and to make sure that we lived up to who we could be, what our ancestors had died for, and what they were fighting for at that time. So when we talk about in the vein of that spirit, that's where we at today.
That's beautiful. No, I love it.
Okay, well, I mean, we're going to get right into the show today. So it's like when we think about all of the things that we do on a regular basis, we talk about like, well, what is it that you do on the show where you say you really being a benefit to the people? And I think one of the things that we do is when we bring in guests and they have something for the community. And you'd be like, well, what do they got for the community? Usually it's some type of teaching lesson, some type of community event that uplifts and builds. And specifically at this time, we know we need it. But like in that same spirit of H. Rap Brown, student minister William Muhammad hit me up a couple weeks ago. And he was like, man, we got a program. Man, we got to talk about it. I said, you just let me know when and where. He said, I'm gonna send Sister Crystal Muhammad in, and we gonna do it. But no, I say that, and Crystal, I welcome you to the show. But
We welcome you.
Yes, thank you.
yes,
Thank
we
you.
welcome you.
Thank you.
Apologies. No, but we got a program that's coming up real soon. It's called How to Give Birth to a God: Education for the New Year.
Yes,
So
sir.
I want to just talk about that title and then kind of talk about what that title represents and what you're going to do.
Yes, sir. So again, thank you all for
Yes.
having me. I'm so excited for this weekend. So myself and a few sisters at the mosque, we have started a homeschool collective, and because we saw the need to educate and really take control of the education of our children, because we believe that our children have the ability
Yes.
to accelerate and to learn as quickly as they desire.
Yeah.
And in most public schools, you are enrolled in your classes at the age level you are, not necessarily at the academic level.
Yes, very
that
true.
You are. And that can be really harmful to
It
the
is.
development of a child, or maybe that child may be struggling in a subject, and then they are with their peers
And they're moving too fast.
they're moving too fast, and then they don't learn. So we saw the need to take our children and really take the reins of education in our own hands. And we've come together to teach our children. And because we've done this, we've been getting a lot of feedback and a lot of questions about how can people do that with their children, right? Because we're not the only ones who see the issue in education.
Can I ask you a question real
yes,
quick on
sir.
that? So when I hear that, I'm so excited about you doing like the acceleration or at their own pace. But then the real question becomes for me, what's the curriculum being taught? Is it the same curriculum that's in the school, or do you have the ability then to give a wider range that really fits the need of the children?
Oh, yes, sir. So there are some things that we do that we teach, of course, math, reading, phonics, one of the and handwriting. So we're teaching the core subjects that are the same, but we are Black.
Yeah.
And we're teaching a Black-centered
All right, come on.
education. And in our case, because we are Muslim followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we're giving our children Islam as well.
Yeah.
And so we do all of that in our classroom. So we're teaching them their Black history, we're teaching them Islam,
Mm.
and we're teaching them the core subjects that they need, because if they're going to be learning the history of America,
Yeah.
they need to learn that
The true history.
the true history.
Not just the
Where are we
one-sided.
in that history?
Mm.
They need to learn that we don't start.
Come
Our
on.
history doesn't
Let's
start
start
at
in
slavery,
America. Come
right?
on.
And it doesn't start in America,
Yeah.
right? We're a universal people. So that's what we're
First
teaching
people.
our children, right? That
No.
we're not just contained to one area, right? We're the whole universe is for us.
So let me ask you this, because I'm so excited about this, because I've been having a lot of questions with some of my friends, and we've been talking about, like, there's always panels. People always talking about what we gonna do, what needs to be done. Y'all just say, hey, we doing this. And I know you said you kind of looked at it, but what was the breaking point where you said, you know what, enough's enough. We're talking about it. Instead of talking about it, we're going to do
It's
it.
time
What
to
was
share, right?
What was
Yes.
the thing where you said, we coming together and we're going to do something?
When I saw the new statistics that came out for our
Mhm.
nation's report card,
Okay.
and I saw that only 12%, I believe it was, of the 8th graders are proficient in math.
Come on. That's
And
criminal.
it is. That means we are working with 88% of these children are performing below proficiency, right? And that's a really scary
Yeah.
thought that's so scary, because people who know math build nations.
Yeah.
You cannot build a nation if you don't know math. You can't build a nation if
Yeah.
you can't read.
Yeah.
And so our children are struggling, and we're looking at the NPS to solve this for us. And don't I came through NPS,
Yeah.
okay? So I'm not hating. I'm a King graduate, okay?
All right.
So we are.
King, you hear that,
Yeah.
Jermaine? I know you do.
Yes.
And Byron.
So
Riverside.
yes, don't worry about it.
It's okay.
But
See, to your point, and I tell people, I don't hate on NPS because we came through, but I also say, man, if we came through, what else could have been if we would have had some other things? Like we made it through kind of despite of, or because we had these few
That's
star
right.
teachers along the way.
That's right.
So what if we had like brilliant teaching, loving teaching all throughout?
That's it. Because imagine having teachers who actually love you
Mm.
and who look like you.
Yeah.
I
Can
came through
relate to you,
NPS,
care about you.
never had a Black male teacher ever. We don't have enough Black male
We don't.
teachers,
Mhm.
right? And I didn't have many Black
I was going to say
women
the preponderance of teachers are white females when you look at the
Most
stats
of them
and the
are
data.
white females.
And I think that's why we had a special education route for Black
Absolutely.
men, because you had that disconnect from the gender, from the SES, from the race, and they see a different as deficit.
because they're not culturally responsive.
Yeah.
They are responding to our children based on what they know,
Mhm.
right? And whatever biases they have,
Come on.
right? But if you have a Black man, you have a Black woman,
Mhm.
you have Latina, you have Latino teachers, you can respond to the
Yeah.
children in front of you with what they need, because you may know, like, if I see a behavior, maybe that's not a special need.
Mhm.
Maybe it's this,
Yeah.
because you have an understanding of the culture,
Come on.
and you have a love. Because you can be Black and
Yeah.
not have a love for self.
Oh, for sure.
Right. But the love is what has to be present in any teacher.
I think that's the main ingredient
Yeah,
for
and
anything that's going to be successful.
I know I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I also know we've got a listening audience of a lot of educators that are out there saying, but what about me? And I'm speaking for me personally to say it's so weird. Well, who we're talking about is not everyone.
Yeah,
It's
no,
That's
no.
what I know, but I'm just taking
That's
the
why I said there's some
opportunity.
star
I know,
teachers.
but I want to just take the opportunity to just say a lot, because I'm sitting here thinking, man, when I was in the classroom, I did love my students. I was a representation, and what is happening is that there isn't enough.
Yeah, that's what I was
of
going
it.
to say.
That's I want. So I just wanted to be able to put that on
Yeah,
the stage.
And she had said we're not throwing NPS under the board, because it is some good things that they do, but just as an overall, when you see 12% not
Oh
proficient,
no, I agree.
that's a failure.
I agree. But that was going to be a
among all
segue to my
demographics.
next question, though. That's
Oh,
I was
go
saying.
ahead
I was
with
setting
it.
myself
Don't
up for the next
segue
question. I
that
was
next
segueing the
question.
next question.
You're in
if
the
it's
middle of
okay.
a brother and sister.
I know, right? For real, brother, sister.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
for real,
for
for real.
real.
Like so. Anyway, no. So I was just talking about that, just to say, again, I have been that example of an African American female teacher with love, and I go in mothering with, in addition to the teaching.
Absolutely.
So I was just curious if you could just give us like 1 or 2 or 3 examples of things that are happening as you do your homeschooling that maybe wouldn't happen in another school.
So we are dealing with so we're doing kind of like stacked curriculum and
Okay.
stacked learning, because we have our youngest child is 4.
Okay.
And our oldest child, and please forgive me if I get this wrong, because I know one of the children will be like, that's not how old I am. I believe our oldest child is 10 now.
Okay.
And so they're all learning at a different level, right? And and sometimes they get frustrated,
Yeah.
right? And so our response could be just forget it. You just fall behind,
Mhm.
right? And they're not all learning the same thing, but they all desire to be on the same level.
Yeah.
And so sometimes frustration can come up. And so then that's where we as a collective, we come in and we bring them back to balance. We don't have to be frustrated, right?
Yeah.
Like where we fall, where we not understanding. So we take the children individually. The moment frustration comes up, the moment some discomfort comes up, we take that child individually and we sit with them until they can work independently. And then when we're done with that one, we go to the next one. So we just make sure that we don't respond in a way that is full of frustration or disdain, like, well, you just don't you just don't got it. So we respond because we're all mothers in there. So we do respond in a very mothering way, in a very loving way. So that's how we approach it. Like if that kind of challenge comes up, we go straight in.
Well, I want to go dig into what you're going to do on Sunday.
Saturday.
Oh,
Saturday.
Is this the 6th,
Saturday,
right?
1 to 4.
Okay.
Yes,
December
sir.
6th from 1 to 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yes, sir.
So you could come on Sunday, but the Saturday.
gonna be
Okay,
over.
come on.
There's something Sunday going on. But no, on Saturday, December 6th. So it says a blueprint for raising highly educated, spiritually grounded children. Tell us about some of the people you have there and what are some of the things they're going to discuss that day.
Yes, sir. So I'm really excited that Dr. Derek Baba Rogers is joining us. He's going to be presenting on his Exodus Collective, which you are also a part of. And I'm super excited about that because it's really going to lay the base for what we're doing, because we want that separation and that control over our children. He's going to really lay the base for that. So he's coming through. We have Sister Shahida Muhammad. She's coming up out of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And she actually runs her own private school called MMSEA. So she starts as soon as your child is potty trained, you can enroll them.
Oh, wow.
And she's teaching them. She has like 2 and 3-year-olds who are reading proficiently. She's teaching them all the STEM. She's like an engineering genius, right? So she's teaching the children all about engineering, architecture. So they're getting exposure to that really young, and they're doing advanced mathematics. Sister Ayana Muhammad, she's you want to talk about curriculum development? Yeah. She is like a master curriculum.
See, and developer. I love that because I know people is calling like, well, what's their credentials? What can they do? And what you're just saying is we got people who got they I don't care if it's degree or whatnot, but they have the necessary credentials to be able to say we can teach this at a very competent level.
Absolutely, yes. So the people we're bringing in, that's I didn't put myself on the panel, but the reality is we have credentialed teachers. And the statistics say it really doesn't matter, because if you can put one of our children up against their equivalent in MPS, I guarantee you they will outperform what they are learning in these schools right now. And it's not in a egotistical way, because it's not us, it's the children.
No, it's just the proof is in the statistics.
And because if we're talking about not being able to read at 8, 9,
again,
that's a
criminal.
problem.
That's criminal to me. It's like you have one job as a society, and that's to educate and to create a citizenry of critical thinkers. And I think they try to dumb us down, specifically certain communities, specifically to continue the colonization's type of standpoint.
There is an absolute dumbing down of the American people, because it just like they took cursive out of the curriculum. Our children are writing cursive now, and they're writing it well. And and it's speculation, but they're saying they took it out so that we can't read those older documents, because if you can't write it, you can't read it. So what if the Constitution is written in cursive? Bill of Rights, all of that is written. And so if you can't write in cursive, and honestly, if you can't even write, you can't even perfect your craft. You can't perfect your knowledge. You have to be able to write. So that's why we're putting all of this in our children today. Wherever there's a lack, we're trying to make up for it. And so, I know we could say hey, you're not a credentialed teacher, but the credentialed teachers are not taking our children where they need to go.
I tell people sometimes the credentials can fool you. And,
Yeah.
and I said, I want to see what a person does. We had a friend, she didn't have any credentials, and she was a Sunday school teacher. And we saw from there, we was like, oh, she's gifted. This was like something that was God given. And then you can learn different things. I didn't go to school to be a teacher, but I was a teacher. And you know what I did? I went to the school of Alisia Moutry. She taught me how to set my lesson plan. No, I
How to
tell you,
create
dead
Yes.
serious. I was a
it is.
psychology major, but I got an emergency license as a teacher. She taught me how to be a teacher, literally as far as the basics, in less than 1 day. She gave me the ground pool, and then you learn on the job and you get better. And if you already naturally equipped for it, it's there. But I don't want
Yeah.
to stop you
No,
from your
that's
other people.
okay.
You get me
Okay,
excited.
look,
I
okay,
love
look.
this.
And so look, then we talked about the math scores. We
Mm.
have brother, we call him the math doctor.
Okay.
Brother Shaheed Muhammad. He's a brilliant
Yeah.
mathematician. He's going to be teaching, he's going to be presenting on how to teach your children math. We have Sister Sherry Muhammad, who is also, she started her own private school, Asiatic Minds. It's completely online. And she has super qualified teachers. One of her youngest graduates graduated at 15 and is now in college right now.
In a traditional college.
Traditional college, studying architecture at 15.
Yeah.
Then we have our brother Kenneth Dallas, and he has a master's in special education. Because we understand that sometimes we may struggle, because you know, if you want to homeschool, because we're not here to necessarily push like the idea of homeschooling, because if it's not a reality for you, what can you do after school? What can you do on the weekend? So, and sometimes our children get maybe wrongly labeled, but sometimes rightly labeled autistic, have ADHD, all these other learning disabilities. How do you teach a child like that?
Because you can still learn.
Because you can still
sure
learn.
can.
There's no reason you can't learn, right? And so he's going to be giving his expertise on that. Then we have our brother Sensei Will. You all might know him. He teaches at MCP now.
Yeah.
And but one of the things we know is a huge issue in the schools is bullying.
Yeah.
Right. So he's going to be teaching the importance of the physical education aspect of education, also self-defense. How do you teach your children? If hey,
I'm not going to be a victim
right now, right? I can't homeschool right now. I'm gonna do my best to teach my children to make sure they don't get left behind, or that they can continue to accelerate. But maybe I can't pull them out right now. How do you teach them how to deal with the social anxiety, the bully? How do you teach them that? So he'll be there for that. And so, and then Sister Athena is going to do a quick presentation on how to teach your child to read, because she is currently a reading tutor. And so that's what she does. It's like the science of reading, so we're trying to give all the resources we can. And then at the end, once everybody gives their presentation, we want to open up the floor.
Okay.
To have a Q&A, to have a dialogue with the audience. What questions do you have after you've learned all this? What questions do you have? Where are you struggling? How can we help you? And then, we're going to go from there.
And
see what else is
can I jump in real quick?
Yes,
you talked
ma'am.
about the audience. So my question for you is, who would be the perfect audience for you? Like, because I know this is an event. It costs a lot. Is that what I understand? This
it's
event
completely free.
Oh, it's
completely
free.
free. $99.
What time?
And who is this for?
Saturday.
And who is this for?
This Saturday, 1 to 4, 1 to 4 p.m. So, and this is for anybody who cares about the education of their children. It doesn't matter. Even if you don't have children, you start and you want
Aunties,
children.
grandmamas.
Come on.
Yeah.
You have a child in your life you love.
Oh, yeah.
Come on through, right? Grannies, aunties, uncles, whoever. Educators.
What's the new? I know Muhammad Mosque number 3 is now on 9th and Burleigh, but I don't know the exact address. Y'all got a new location.
925 West Burleigh. We moved from our 4202 location right up the street. We moved. We're now right in the middle of 53206.
I was gonna say, and I love y'all. A lot of times people move and it's like the Jefferson and move on up to the east side, right away from everybody. You move right into the heart again of the community. And that's why, as long as I always have a microphone, Muhammad Mosque number 3, they do so much for the community. They always have a safe place here because of everything that you do for the community. I was just there a couple of weeks ago. They was talking about men and trying to develop our community as a build off of the 1 million man mark. So even 30 years later, you have the aftermath going on. So give the time, the place, and address again before we get out on this break.
Yes, sir. We are at 925 West Burleigh this Saturday, 1 to 4 p.m. December 6th, this Saturday. And Brother Shahid will be back on Sunday teaching at 10 a.m. So if you can't make it Saturday, come on Sunday because the math doctor is going to be teaching. Okay.
Now, if somebody can't make it this Saturday, what are some things they can do to be able to talk to you or to some of the people who are going to be presenting so they can kind of get some of this information?
So they can follow Muhammad Mas #3 on Facebook. They can also, I'm Crystal Muhammad on Facebook.
Mhm.
So if you want to follow me, send a friend request. I do respond to my messages, and I'm happy to help. I help no charge. Like
No.
we want our people to have this.
No, this is beautiful, and I appreciate you. I thank you, Jermaine Ryder. I know we went a little bit over time for the first one and everything like that, but Crystal Muhammad, I want to thank you for coming in. I would like to thank again Muhammad Mas #3 for always continually putting the community first and thinking about our babies. Malcolm X said, "Only a fool lets the enemy educate the child." So I see you going ahead, taking initiative to educate our own babies. We thank you.
Yes,
You've
sir.
been listening to, and you're still listening to Nyumba Upendo on WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. We'll be right back. Back to the Nyumba Upendo show with Kweku Dr.Alisia and Alicia Moutry. Hey, welcome back to the Nyumba
You
Upendo show.
silly.
Hey, right before we left, hey, we had Crystal Muhammad in talking about the program that's coming on December 6th from 1 to 4, Muhammad Mas #3. And she couldn't leave because we had a caller, so we wanted to make sure that the caller could get his question in, and she so graciously agreed to stay. So, caller, you're on the Nyumba Upendo show. Question or comment?
Comment and a question.
Let's go.
This is Rick calling you long distance from Germany.
Germany.
My man.
And I would like to say to the ladies on the program, even though I'm calling from Germany, I am from Washington, D.C., born and raised. And I would also like the women to know that the CIA had a hand in my education, early childhood education, and they messed over me pretty badly. I was an MK Ultra experiment, and my mother was an ex-soldier who probably didn't belong in the military, but women from the military and the secret services took advantage of her and her firstborn male child, which was me. I would like to ask the sister from the Nation of Islam, do you homeschool your children? And if so, between the grade level of 7th grade and 12th grade, what do you teach them about white people?
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. So, yes, sir. I absolutely homeschool my children, and we do not wait until they're in the 7th grade to teach them the nature of anybody. We start teaching them as soon as they are able to understand. So they start learning history right away. So our 4-year-old is learning history. She doesn't necessarily have a complete grasp, but she's already learning it. So that's that, dear brother. I hope that answered your question.
Well, I know that between 1962, 1992, and 2022, curriculum in the Nation of Islam has evolved.
Yes, sir.
You're not still teaching that whites are devils, are you?
Sir, we teach that we don't call them that by name, but we do teach our children the reality of our former slave masters and their nature. So that teaching has not changed. We have used more evolved language, but the teaching remains the same.
Thank you, lady.
Right.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much for
All
calling.
right. Look at you, Chris Muhammad, with all the answers coming in through. I appreciate you. Hey, Rick, we appreciate you calling from Germany. Crystal, we thank you for coming in. We
Thank
know you
you.
got to get back to the
Yes,
teaching
gotta
and
get
education.
to the
We thank you
children.
for coming in. We're going to let everybody know December 6th from 1 to 4. Come down to Muhammad Mas #3. You're going to get a whole lot of learning, math, reading, just the formula, the curriculum to be able to start this on how do we love our babies, protect our babies, and educate our babies.
And I'm
So
going to call
thank
it a blueprint for raising highly educated, spiritually grounded children.
That's
We
right.
love the work that you're doing, and we wish you well.
Thank you.
you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good one. Oh my God, it's almost hard to transition from that and whatnot like that. So, but I know as we talk about this season, I'm looking around the studio, I'm seeing all of these Christmas paraphernalia and things of that nature. And usually after Thanksgiving, this is the time where people, Salvation Army, thinking about giving to other people. But it also has a time where you say, if we don't prepare ourselves, it can also have some difficult times. Oh, I guess we got another caller on. So before we jump into that, you want to get
Yeah,
the
that's
caller?
fine. That's fine.
Caller, you're on Nyumba Upendo, House of Love. What's your question or comment?
Yes, sir. My comment. Thank you for taking my call.
Hey, what's up,
Assalamu alaikum to you.
Christopher? She just left too, so I hope
heard
it's something we
Sister
can
Crystal.
answer.
Oh no, I have this is a carryover, like with Mr. The man from Germany.
With Rick.
When he yeah, okay, Mr. Rick, when he asked about if the nation still teaches if the white man is the devil. When you come into the Nation of Islam and processing class, there are certain things that must be addressed, and there are certain questions that individuals must ask of you. In what is known as the student enrollment. Student enrollment it comes before the actual facts. And the first question is asked of the pupil is who is the original man? The answer is provided. The provided answer is the original man is the Asiatic black man, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Second said question is, who is the colored man? The answer to that question is, the colored man is Yakub's grafted devil, or the Caucasian white man, who is the skunk of the planet Earth. It is not that the teachings should change. The thing is, the question of it all is that, has the nature of the Caucasian changed? Has his way of doing business or interaction with the darker people of the planet, has that changed? So he has not evolved, and by his presence on the planet, the whole of humanity has degenerated. So of course not. There is no altering of the truth when it comes to the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to make it more palatable for someone who might be offended. If you have an aversion to the truth, then stay in ignorance.
All right. I
Thank
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Everybody has their own opinion. I love how Sister Krista put it, and then Chris has his take on that with that. What I always say is evil is as evil does. I look at it like that. And I've seen some evil come in all forms and fashions and sizes. But as far as what we talk about with the education and seeing colonialization and things of that nature, I think it's just important that we tell unfiltered truth. But I think, this was kind of getting to our point, Dr. Moutry, as far as like, when you deal with the stresses of life, this is what causes stress and frustration. And then we compound that with the holidays and all of those things that bring. I know you had some things on your heart, just talking about like this season, but how do we not be sad by this season, but how do we stay uplifted through it?
Well, I guess first of all, we got to recognize sometimes that the season actually brings on some sadness. It brings on depression. Right. So we just kind of talked about that. We were going to, have an opportunity just to actually, I would love for us, because we really want to be focusing in on how do we begin to talk about the positives of the holidays.
No, and
right?
it's funny that you say that, because I got a chance to do a lecture on depression in the holidays. How do we manage stressors with our family and the workplace, things of that nature. And so a lot of times people would have the notion that suicides increase during the holiday season. That is a myth. Suicides do not increase during the season. In fact, the spring season is when there's a proliferation. With it doesn't mean it does not happen, but you know what you're more likely to go to the hospital for? Fallen decorations, laceration cuts, broken toes, probably from the decorations that done fell on your foot.
Or you trying to help me across this ice to get to the radio station.
No, because it's the weather, but that's more Wisconsin.
Right.
But overall, when we look at that, or from you have GI issues or cardiac, and that's usually because people have overindulged in the wrong type of foods with food poisoning or overstuffing or over drinking. So when we start talking about these holidays, even though suicides do not go up, you know what does go up? Levels of anxiety and depression. In fact, the American Psychological Association just did a study, and it says that 89% of Americans feel more stress during the holiday season. 89, that means 9 out of 10, which is just about everybody during the holiday season. Before COVID, there was a thing done by NAMI, a survey done by NAMI, and it says that 64% of people living with mental illness. So these are people diagnosed, and according to the WHO, that's the World Health Organization, or the CDC, they say 1 in every 5 people, whether it's in America or in the world, are diagnosed with a mental health illness. They said 64% of those individuals in 2014 stated that their stressors go up in the holidays. Now, during 2021, this was the COVID period, that number rose to 60% for the general population. So not the 1 in 5 that suffer from mental illness. 60% of the world, of the United States, stated that they have these high stressors during the holiday season. And so when we think about that, why do people have these stresses during the holiday season?
Yeah, well, I would love to just go through something, because I'm sure that folks that are listening, personally, I'm thinking about just one personally for myself. Believe it or not, this weather, the way the gloomy skies, it really can, I feel so much better in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
And so I know that weather can be one.
Well, no, that's actually a diagnosed disorder. We call it SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Okay. So when the sun goes down, you think about not only do you have the snow, which some people absolutely love or whatnot, but we don't like, those storms that came on Saturday, but you have less sunlight. And when you
Right.
have less sunlight, you have
Right.
less vitamin D, you have less time to be outside. You think about how many people are older when they say, oh, you know what, I can't drive because it's dark. That means your day is short and your interaction with people, your social interaction, you're confined into the homes for a longer period of time. So
Absolutely.
that's
So
absolutely
yeah, so I feel that actually. That's probably why I like to travel a lot, to get more sun. The other thing I was thinking about, just personally, just thinking about stressors that happen during the holidays. I don't think
with your
people
little
often,
brother.
well, that one too, but no, just thinking about the financial
Oh yeah.
stresses that come along with holidays. So
Yeah.
it sounds simple that
No,
I'm
you know
just
what? I was
have
listening to WNOV the other day. They was talking about buying gifts. I don't know what Jermaine said he was buying everybody, but I know Michelle was talking about she wanted Debo or Keith to be able to buy their gifts. And you
right.
say that kind of jokingly, but like yesterday was Giving Tuesday, and I absolutely love it because you go from Black Friday to Small Business Saturday to Cyber Money is consume, buy. Giving Tuesday was like, hey, let's give away. Man, I got so many hits. And it was like, you want to give to everybody, but if you give to everybody, you're
You
going
don't
to
have
be
anything.
in a different situation. And so it's like, how do you say no, which is difficult because somebody say, hey, give to our cause. And you're like, I want to give, but how much do you do? So one of the things that I did with our business is we have a quarter amount that we can give each quarter.
Okay.
And once we've surpassed that amount, I say I can't do no more from a business standpoint. Now, if there's some personal things, everybody knows their own account. Sometimes you give until it hurt. Sometimes you can just give out of abundance and you don't mind. But you have to know your own financial budget. And that goes into when we talk about making a budget and then sticking to that budget, understanding because in this holiday season is when people start to stretch those budgets in ways that they shouldn't.
Yeah, well, and I even think about you talking about gifts. I wasn't even going there yet, but that definitely
Oh
causes
yeah.
financial stress. But I'm just thinking about people just got through with Thanksgiving holiday. So just you hosting a dinner.
Yeah.
Do you know the price of groceries nowadays?
Oh,
And
trust
people
me, I
trying
do.
to be able to have the many options at the table. So just sometimes the
No,
financial
and
component
but
can
no, you
add.
think
Or
about that.
traveling.
No, but I was gonna say you just come back off of the SNAP benefits being reduced, even though they've been
Yeah.
like giving back out. It's like they still have been reduced from a significant amount. So when you start saying that, but I think about expenses, it's like one thing after another. This goes out, then this goes out, then this goes out. And during this season right here, and I'm telling people, please be extra careful when you set up your beautiful decorations. There's more fires that happen
Oh yeah.
around this time. Your light bill goes up more. So, like, just being smart about how we do this. And when I say smart, not like people are dumb, but I'm talking about from an economic sense, because we say, oh, this looks beautiful. Then you get that bill and you be like, oh, I forgot what this is. So, even managing that into your budget. So, when we talk about financial stressors, that's one of the number one reasons that cause people stress during this season.
So when you think about additional stressors that may come to
Mhm.
place, I think about one of um oh, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry if you weren't here. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
There was a phone. Sorry. Anyway, I'm thinking about the stressors. Let me go back to that. I was thinking about, holidays call for family,
Mm,
right? And
the double-edged sword.
it's a double-edged sword where you enjoy it, but then also there's a part of that family thing that could actually cause stress.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's for multiple reasons. So like you talk about, this is the thing. With family, we need connection. We know the beauty and the power in family, but also when family gets together, what we got to do is say, we got to learn from the past. What made this beautiful? What made this good? But then also, what was the things that was the tipping point where you said it wasn't? I can tell you three things that can destroy a
Tell
family
us the three
situation.
things.
Well, I mean, everybody know this. The hen and the gin. As soon as people get that, no. And even from a psychological diagnosis standpoint, we call it psychosis-induced, alcohol-induced psychosis. So when somebody drinks too much, Byron turn into a different person. He ain't the nice guy that's here. Like you give him a little. and so what I'm saying is that changes the whole motif of what's going on. Everybody was laughing and good, but
And
this
we
person
know.
got drunk. They just got a little extra. The
Okay.
second thing is when we got unresolved drama and trauma.
Mm.
We know inside our houses, there's a lot of stories that people ain't gonna tell nobody, especially in CPS. And now you got to go be around that uncle. You got to be around that cousin, or you got to be around somebody who done did some things that you know they shouldn't have did, and everybody know, but don't nobody talk about it.
Right.
But we got
The
to act
elephant
like
in the room.
everything is normal. And so when you start putting people in these things where it's unresolved conflict, and it doesn't even have to be of a gross sexual nature. It could be somebody, you know how many people be like, man, Jermaine still owe me $15 from 2 years ago. And because we ain't talked about it, he know he owed me. I shouldn't have to come to him. It's a tension that's there. It's those unresolved conflicts. So when we start talking about, hey, before we get to the holiday parties, maybe let this be the season to give love, to say, I'm gonna give you a pass. I'm gonna let you go on that $15. Or we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna resolve it. So when we start to say that, and what do you think, in your opinion, because it ain't just my three, so it could be anything. What else do you think causes drama in families? I'm just curious. Okay, no. So when we start talking about that, I want you to think about this in the most serious of senses and
Okay.
whatnot like that. Uh, Sometimes people can't be happy with beautiful. What do I mean by that? You done made this macaroni and cheese, but I got, hey, Jermaine, Alicia can't make no macaroni and cheese. I don't know what kind of cheese she done put in that thing right there. Hey, guess what? Hey, these person done re-gifted the gift. Debo was just talking about that yesterday. I'm talking about the little petty things that really shouldn't mean nothing, but because of the holidays, and this is where you say, well, how is that a big thing with families? What that is unresolved stress with other issues. And then the family
So it
becomes
trickles.
the people that the straw that broke the camel. So when you start dealing about all of the other little stressors I've been dealing with life that got nothing to do with my family, guess what? The family becomes a place where I can unleash all of this garbage that didn't happen from work or didn't happen within the home and things of that nature. And you know what? I just tell people we always got to be kind, because you don't know what anybody's going through at this time. Somebody just got a medical diagnosis that they're not telling nobody about. You know what? It's somebody in your family that lives an alternative lifestyle, but they can't be themselves when they come home, or if they do, they know they're going to get rejected, or at least not celebrated, maybe tolerated, but not celebrated. And then when we start to think about these things, these are all things that bring that negative, toxic
So
energy
that's the
into the
word,
air.
that negative toxic piece. So as you give me a chance to think about it for a second, I was gonna mention the possibility of maybe like a jealousy or resentment type of situation. Meaning, again, that goes back to unresolved things. But one person may come in one way being pure and genuine to themselves, and then other people see it, and it could be just that macaroni and cheese. I can do that better, but just jealous that people are loving that macaroni and cheese better than they love
There's
your
no
macaroni
level
and
to the
cheese.
pettiness where it
Right.
could go. It could go from the car that you drive, from the job that you have, from the family that they perceive that you have, or it
So
could
how you
go.
put yourself together?
It is. It's so many different things, and it's like it's unfortunate that sometimes we hurt or we take out our pain and our ugliness on the people who we love the most. That's why if you have a beautiful family, that's something we don't take for granted. You are very happy to have that. You're very blessed to have it. If you never had it, you understand, hey, I am missing something, and that's why people look for community in outside places. And when we talk about fictive kin, and fictive kin is just what blood that ain't blood. You ain't my cousin by blood, but you my cousin by heart. We look for those other places where I adopt and I say, hey, oh, this might not be my blood family. This is where my village is right
Right.
now.
Well, I got a couple of other stressors.
All
We're
right, come
talking
on.
about the stresses of the holiday. I was thinking about just sometimes just like the change in the routine.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, during the
Oh, that's a big one.
holiday,
Big
during
one.
the holiday, sometimes, students have school, but it's
Yeah.
different
Even the
during that
school,
time. The school,
the school. I mean, the
right.
stores are open later. The
But the stores are
schools.
open. But I was talking about like the parents. Okay, we're used to sending our kids to school, but now they're off school. Now they're in the house, and things just look a little differently. So sometimes that could actually cause
Oh,
stressor.
no doubt about it. Because when you talk about a schedule and a routine, that's what keep people going. If you ever go to a good school, you go to a good prison, or you're in the military, everything is on a timely basis. And the reason why it's able to run like a machine is because it runs like a machine due to the schedule.
Right. No, I agree with that one. So I'm also thinking about the way, again, like we were talking about the gym and the working out.
Mhm.
Sometimes that could be another stressor, not being able to get that physical activity in. That's another one I was thinking about.
Oh, no doubt about it. Hey, I know we're coming up close to a break. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about, we've been talking about all these things. We're gonna come back with some self-care tips. What can you do to make sure that you are surviving these holidays? So come back. We're gonna have some wonderful tips and interventions, what we call shovel-ready interventions, ready to apply immediately. You're listening to Nyumba Upendo on WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. know, we start talking about, hey, we got some self-care things for you. Dr. Moutry, what we're gonna do, we're gonna do a play on the 12 days of Christmas. You know how they say on the 12th day of Christmas,
got it.
dun, 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 dun.
Right. And the reason we're gonna do that is because we've just been talking about the holidays, and we
Yeah.
always make sure we end our show with some type of strategy, some type of chivalry interventions.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna use the 12 days
And-
to
and-
begin that, right?
And I want to make this, we're going to give you 12 suggestions, but you can do these any way that you want to do it. But the first thing what we're going to do on the 12th day, what we want to do is to give you 12 songs to think about on the holiday that makes you feel good. So, you know, I remember growing up and we knew it was Christmas because my mom put on the Temptations. Merry Christmas from the Temptations. And you just knew it. It just set the tone for the season. And even thinking about it now, it makes me feel good and think about it. We was just playing across the break. He said, what was that song, Jermaine? I'm gonna let you sing it out.
Which one was it? It was
Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas, baby. Sure look good to me.
Oh my goodness.
Felt that thing.
You know, like Santa Claus comes straight to the ghetto.
Yeah.
I saw Mommy Kissing Santa by Michael Jackson, and he had that little voice like it was for real. The daddy was there. I mean,
Oh yeah. Well, I got an all-time favorite.
Okay,
And it's not going to be a holiday. And I started around November, and I'm
Okay.
playing it all the way to the end of January. It is an entire soundtrack, and it's the Preacher's Wife soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
With
yeah,
Whitney
you can't go
Houston.
with Whitney
Yeah.
Houston.
And that the main song is "I Believe in You and Me."
I believe
Oh.
in you and me.
Oh,
Listen.
I do.
Hey, you know what? That's the perfect segue because 11 is 11 movies. 11 movies that you watch. So we got the Preacher's Wife. That's a Christmas favorite. You know, I do This Christmas and Almost Christmas.
Oh my God.
Almost Christmas is my favorite with Danny Glover and Monique.
Oh my goodness.
JB Smooth. Oh, it's one of those things where you look at it, it just makes you laugh. But that's what I do with my family. That's a tradition
Okay.
in my family.
I
You got a
one.
movie?
Yeah, me and my boys, we always watch The Perfect Holiday with Queen Latifah. And I really love that one a lot because
Yeah.
she thought she was going through some health concerns, right?
Mm.
But then she went and spent all her money. She went and lived life and then found out at the end that she really wasn't as sick as she's supposed to be. But it was more about, hey,
And
you
you
better
got to
enjoy
live her
your life.
dream,
Live your
yeah.
dream, but go ahead and do the stuff
that's
that
a
you've
good
been waiting
one.
to do.
I
So
like
we
that.
love, my boy, we always watch The Perfect Holiday.
Mine is Home Alone 1 and 2.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because he
Home
like Donald
Alone.
Trump in Home Alone too. That's what.
No, I
Oh,
just
my
like
God.
dude was just a
Yeah.
menace. He'll set up traps.
No.
and-
I think that's one of the all-time classics. My favorite one. That's like what you say, a white movie. It's a Wonderful Life because it was just about this guy who didn't think his life meant nothing. Then he saw, man, my life really is, worth something. and
Wow.
whatnot like that. So 10, I got what is 10 books? Give me one book that you read or that you read, and this ain't got to be Christmas, but that you just say, I want to do this. People say for the new year I got goals. What's the 10 books you're gonna read for 2026?
Okay, so here's the deal. What I did, because you told me about the books, and so I have a lot of books sitting by my desk, and I went with what was right there. So I got a couple of titles. One is called "If Mama Ain't Happy, Ain't Nobody Happy." That's by Lindsay O'Connor.
Okay.
I got another book. I always talk about "Happy Women Live Better" by Valerie Burton. That's sitting right there for me. And then there's another one. I can't say it all the way, but I will tell you. No, it's called "The Subtle Art of Not Giving a."
F.U.
Yep, and it's by Mark Mason. Because a lot of times I'm going into stuff and I take stuff to heart a lot of times, and this one's just it's called the subtle art of not giving
a fuss.
Oh,
yeah, yeah, that's what we.
so those are the 3 books that are actually by my desk right now.
So that was 10. 9. We got 9. Hey, Jermaine always talking about his
Ooh, I got
macaroni
this
and cheese.
Yeah,
What's your recipe for the macaroni
Hey,
and cheese?
give me
one.
cheese in that thing, man.
Cottage
How many
cheese is
cheese?
the
Man,
secret.
Gouda cheese,
Good.
cottage cheese, American cheese,
Okay.
and then if you want to get a little fancy, put a little Swiss cheese in that thing.
Okay.
Oh, and no cheddar?
Well, yeah.
You
A
got-
you got the 5
a little
cheeses.
Okay,
dab of
I
cheddar.
got to have a little cheddar.
But yeah, cheddar,
Okay.
cottage, Gouda.
A cottage. Okay.
Yeah, listen here.
My
make you
granddaddy
smack your
and my
mama.
uncle, hey, Jermaine, every Christmas they had to have some coon. We had
Oh
squirrel
no!
and coon.
True.
Oh, whoa.
It's the truth.
So when we talk about recipes, everybody got their thing, but that's just one that makes me
But
remember.
I got one that my boys always request too. I do
What?
this beef brisket, and what makes
Ah.
it so amazing is that it marinates for at least 24 hours in red wine,
Lord.
soy sauce,
Lord.
and brown sugar.
Mm.
It makes it so tender, and it's just a sweet, beautiful meat.
Next time you cook that, please bring
Hey, I know we going a long time, so I'm
Come
gonna
on,
just
okay,
give you
come
some
on.
ideas. Hey, I want you to think about 8 black superheroes, and I'm talking about from the Martin Luther Kings to the Coretta Scott Kings to all of the people who you say that we walk, we stand tall because we stand on their shoulders. Remember, our ancestors. And 7, that's an easy one. Remember the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
Absolutely.
That should be something that we celebrate year round. But those principles are so powerful. And I always look forward to December 26th going down to Claiborne Benson, and where we talk about Umoja, but because it's a day of unity, and that's where it starts. Number 6.
Let's talk about 6 days of exercise, and maybe it's not 6 days in a row, but maybe it's at least 6 during the month.
6 days. No, 6 days out the week. We ain't doing
Well,
no 6
hey,
days.
I'm going with people. Sometimes people have to start somewhere.
But
brother.
there's so many different ways you can exercise. You can
That's
exercise
true.
by cleaning, by walking. So it ain't got to be working out, being like Jermaine, going in the gym. That's cool if you do, but it's so many different ways we can do. You do yoga, you can do Tai Chi.
So just move.
Just move.
6
That-
different
that's
ways.
it.
I got the 5th one. 5 memories.
Uh-huh.
What sometimes just to take in to be still, just to think about things that made you smile or make you happy or to make you who you are.
4 people to call. Call 4 people who you love that
Ooh.
you know would love to hear your voice.
Right. 3 things that you can give gratitude for. Like, what are you thankful for?
And then number 2, make sure you're praying at least 2 times a day. You can pray more, but at least 2 times a day. Let's be conscious about praying for ourselves, praying for our friends and our loved ones and our country and our world.
And then our one, it's
What's that?
doing a good deed every day. Like just picking one thing, one good deed that you can do
And
every day. And that could range in a lot of different
but
things.
that
right?
goes to what Mama Daisy always say. The best way to heal yourself is to help others.
others.
Hey, you've been listening to Nyumba Upendo on WNOV 860 AM. Do those 12 days of Christmas to make yourself feel good during the season. We love you, Milwaukee.